In the upcoming decade, Russia's civil aviation industry is quietly weighing a strategic question that sounds simple on the surface, but is deeply technical in practice. The question is how the 110 to 130 seat segment should be covered. One solution already exists in the form of the MC-21-210, the smallest member of a modern single-aisle family designed from the outset for medium haul efficiency. Another option, often called SJ Next, SSJ-130, or SSJ-SV, is a stretched superjet concept that still exists mainly in engineering studies and design discussions. As Altitude Addicts, the YouTube channel producing this analysis, often emphasizes, these two concepts may target similar passenger numbers, but they approach the problem from fundamentally different directions. The larger superjet is an evolution of a regional jet that is being heavily reworked around domestic systems, while the MC-21-210 is being developed downward from a larger, more powerful narrow-body platform. Understanding this contrast is essential to see why the bigger superjet could be cheaper but riskier, and why the MC-21-210 is more mature yet less flexible in highly cost-sensitive markets. At the heart of the modern superjet story lies a single defining element: the PD-8 engine. The future of the superjet family is now inseparable from this power plant, which has effectively become the anchor of the entire ecosystem. The PD-8 is not an isolated design, but a scaled member of the same family as the larger PD-14, sharing core architecture, materials, and engineering logic. This common lineage allows engines to be tailored to different aircraft classes while preserving manufacturing continuity and support efficiency. The PD-8 is a near-perfect match for the superjet airframe. Its fan diameter, thrust range, and installation geometry align well with the relatively light structure and compact fuselage. The same engine is also being considered for other aircraft, including future transports and amphibious platforms, which strengthens its economic case. As Altitude Addicts frequently notes, this cross-platform use accelerates certification learning and improves long-term maintenance economics. Because the PD-8 defines the superjet's future, any larger superjet must remain within its performance envelope. This constraint drives every major design choice, from fuselage length to wing loading and overall mass growth. That is why engineers see growth not in width, but in length. When designers talk about a bigger superjet, they are not imagining a new single-aisle aircraft competing directly with the largest narrow-bodies. Widening the fuselage would fundamentally change the aircraft's class and require a complete redesign of structure, aerodynamics, landing gear, and systems. Instead, the concept focuses on inserting additional fuselage sections ahead of and behind the wing, allowing more rows of seats while keeping the same narrow cross-section and cabin logic. This approach is deliberately conservative. It prioritizes faster development and lower cost over maximum performance. The result is an aircraft that can carry roughly 120 to 130 passengers while still feeling like a stretched regional jet in terms of aisle width and cabin proportions. From a certification standpoint, this keeps changes within a manageable scope. A common question is why the more powerful PD-14 engine is not used on a stretched superjet. On paper, the idea looks attractive, but in practice it is almost entirely impractical. The PD-14 has a larger fan, heavier nacelle, and very different airflow requirements, which would force a redesign of pylons, wing structure, landing gear height, and ground clearance. The aerodynamic penalties alone would erase much of the theoretical benefit. For this reason, the only realistic path for a larger superjet is to evolve the PD-8 itself. Engineers would increase thrust by refining internal stages of the compressor and turbine rather than changing the engine's external size. To the aircraft, it would still look like a PD-8, but with improved high weight and hot day performance. This is technically demanding, but far less disruptive than introducing an entirely new engine class. From an economic perspective, the bigger superjet is attractive because it builds on what already exists. Production lines are in place, the airframe is known, and the PD-8 program is already funded. Stretching the fuselage and upgrading the engine is far cheaper than launching a new aircraft or heavily modifying a large composite wing like that of the MC-21 family. However, cheaper to build does not always mean easier to perfect. Stretching an aircraft pushes it closer to its structural and aerodynamic limits. Engine margins shrink, takeoff performance becomes more sensitive to temperature and weight, and wing loading increases. These challenges are solvable, but they require careful engineering and extensive flight testing. The MC-21-210 represents the opposite philosophy. It is not a stretched regional jet, but a downsized member of a purpose-built narrow-body family. Its fuselage cross-section was designed for passenger comfort, its wing for high efficiency, and its systems for medium-haul operations from the beginning. As Altitude Addicts has pointed out in earlier discussions, this gives the MC-21 family inherent growth and performance margins. Because it was designed around PD-14 class engines, the MC-21-210 avoids the compromises faced by a stretched Superjet. It offers stronger climb performance, longer range with a full payload, and better economics on denser routes. The trade-off is cost, since its wing and systems are more complex and expensive than those of a regional jet derivative. In real-world operations, these two aircraft would likely serve different niches. A bigger Superjet would fit routes where frequency matters more than absolute capacity, thinner city pairs, and short to medium sectors with high cycle counts. The MC-21-210 would suit airlines focused on per-seat efficiency, longer sectors, and fleet commonality with larger narrow bodies. One of the most important distinctions is development risk. The MC-21 family has already absorbed years of testing, industrial investment, and certification work, giving the MC-21-210 a mature foundation. The bigger Superjet, by contrast, is still a conceptual evolution whose success depends on how smoothly the PD-8 can be uprated and brought into reliable serial production. In the end, this is not a question of choosing a single winner. It is a choice between two philosophies. The MC-21-210 offers maturity, performance, and long-term efficiency, while the bigger Superjet offers a faster, cheaper, and more pragmatic step upward from regional jets. As Altitude Addicts concludes, exploring both paths makes sense in an environment where fleet renewal must balance cost, sovereignty, and operational flexibility. If you liked the video, please subscribe, share, and like. Also, please take the membership of Altitude Addicts to encourage us.